Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast. Before we start, for those of you who are coming to this podcast for the first time, this is where I share mainly about two main content areas. Those are personal financial management skills and secondly, the life experiences that I have accumulated. Once again, hello everyone, let's start today's topic together. To start today, I'll take a few minutes to quickly tell you about my job since I live and work in Australia. I shared a previous video with you. If you've watched the video before, you can quickly skip through this part, and if you haven't watched it yet, follow what I share. It's been nearly 25 years since I started working in the 2000s, and during those nearly 25 years, I started with my first job as a computer assembler and programmer, until later I moved to work. Products then gradually moved up to management and now investment. Although I have had many different jobs and positions, my entire career journey revolves around one industry, the information technology industry. In short, it's called the technology industry, especially since coming to Australia. My work has focused specifically on a small branch of the technology industry, which is the financial technology segment, also known as fintech. During the past 10 years of living and working in Australia, I have worked with quite a few large financial institutions in Australia. From the largest banks in Australia such as Commonwealth Bank or NAB are companies purely focused on building technology to apply to the financial sector, including later working as an advisor to the Australian government. I have the opportunity to interact as not only about technology or finance but also about operating and management policies in this field at the macro level. So that is some general information about my working process. The reason I share this information with you is so that you can rest assured that I understand more or less what I am talking about. I have enough solid knowledge to share with you about the content in this series of articles. This is the expertise I have accumulated over nearly the entire time I have been working, not the kind of miscellaneous knowledge that I have collected from one end, a little from the other. And now we start to get into the main content. Lately, those of you who have been following the news have more or less heard the information about digital currencies that are increasing strongly again, especially Bitcoin. It has surpassed the 2021 peak and its current price is more than $73,000 for one Bitcoin. Just like many previous growth times, every time this coin increased in price, there were countless experts. The word expert in this paragraph I would put in quotes. These experts appear with beautiful words like Bitcoin will be the future of money, will be a reserve tool to replace gold, and Bitcoin will be a golden opportunity for us to change our lives. Due to the nature of my job, I am fortunate to be one of the people who comes into contact with these technologies quite early, as I said. Especially during the time I worked in Australia, I had the opportunity to work with fintech companies and we learned about these blockchain technologies from 2010 to 2011. It's been 15 years. That's why I have witnessed many growth and decline cycles of these digital currencies. There is no denying that thanks to it, there are people who have become very rich. But at the same time, it also leads to many people going bankrupt because of investing in this type of asset as well as in stocks or other investment activities. During times when the market grows like this, there are always loud voices praising these things, and many of them are fraudulent activities that prey on a person's desire to get rich quickly. Number of people, and that's why I'm doing a series like today. To share more with you about other perspectives. So that you can hear and see different perspectives, so you can draw your own perspectives and make your own decisions when investing money in the hope of changing your life from these types of assets. If you have been following along from the first episodes, specifically the next episode today, are about my work journey, the opportunities that brought me to this blockchain technology and also the reasons. Why did I decide to just stand on the sidelines to research core technologies and observe and analyze people's investment behavior about this asset class? Otherwise, I don't completely use it as an investment tool. So for those of you who come to my podcast for the first time, you can review the previous episode. I will leave the link below the description for you to review. So why did I give up investing in these digital currencies? Many people can say that I have had the opportunity to come into contact with these digital currencies from the stages when they were only priced from $10. If I had bought a lot at that time, I would have become a billionaire by now. However, such simple naive thinking is the deadly trap that many people often fall into. Many people, when they invest, often make a very common mistake, which is looking at the chart and then investing. They look at the chart and regret that if only they had bought at this time and sold at that time, they would have made 5 or 10 times more profit. Then they continue to look at the fact that in the past 6 months it increased and it will continue to increase in the near future. Simply put, they look at the chart and then they continue to make very naive guesses like that. This kind of thing is so simple, it's basically just guessing and gambling based on luck, but since it's gambling, we don't call it investment. When investing, we must clearly understand the nature of the problem. For example, if we invest in a business, we must firmly grasp the financial situation of that company. See what their cash flow is like, what products they are selling, what competitive advantages they have, and who the executive team is, what their capabilities are, and a wealth of information. The more information we can synthesize, the closer we can get to a conclusion that is closest to reality, whether this company will still grow in the future or not. Once you have all the information, what remains is a bit of an element of chance. In fact, if we analyze long enough, we can greatly reduce these elements of chance. At that time, investing is no longer a game of chance, but it is simply an analysis to help us find opportunities. Once we find an opportunity, we invest with a very clear and confident mind. Regardless of whether it goes up or down, we also know the real reason, that's the truth, is investing, but it is the path that I want to direct you to through my sharing through this podcast series. Unfortunately, that is not what is happening in the cryptocurrency market. Some people object to calling these currencies virtual currencies because in English they are actually called cryptocurrency, which means electronic money, or a more straightforward translation, digital currency. Previously, I often called this money digital money, but at this stage one will no longer call it the English translation, but will call it virtual money for its true nature. In the first episodes of this series, I will help you understand an overview of blockchain technology and how these virtual currencies work, and in the following episodes I will analyze the advantages, as well as the problems it has. Now you guys imagine the money market in its early days. Each person holds an amount of money. I have a bag of money containing $100. I have a friend named Adam, for example. My friend Adam also has a bag of $100 similar to me. When I need to buy a chicken from my friend worth $20, I will take $20 from my pocket to give to Adam. Then my friend's pocket will have $120 and I will have $80 left. Our transactions. For example, when a third person named Leo appears, Leo plays the role of a bank. Then Adam and I will give most of the money to the bank to keep. So when I buy Adam's chicken for $20, I will tell Leo to make a note and put my $20 in Adam's dinner. Just like that, every transaction between me and Mr. Adam will be recorded by Mr. Leo in a book. So when Mr. Adam and I want money, Mr. Leo will give us the correct amount of money, and similarly, Mr. Leo, in the case of the bank, will keep all of everyone's money and they will only record the transactions. In that book, and in reality, the bank basically operates the same as what I just described. The only difference is that everything will be managed through a computer system. Then now comes the emergence of the Bitcoin blockchain and other virtual currencies. These technologies come from the problem that people do not trust the banking system. No matter how big the organization is, no matter how reputable it is, money and money information flows out. So it is also only centrally managed in one place, one organization, that is the bank, because our money and assets at this time are simply addition and subtraction numbers on that record. People are afraid when with such centralized management, there will be risks. Risks arise from things like banks being infiltrated by hackers to change those numbers, for example. Or are there operational errors, leading to losses in our assets? From that problem, people came up with a new form. Now, going back to buying the chicken like before, I now give Adam my money and the person who is acting as a bank lets him keep the money and record the minus $20. Now all the people in the village also have their own board. When I give Adam the chicken, Adam and I will inform all the villagers about that information and everyone will know. We'll record on their record that Adam gets an extra $20 for a total of $120 and I get $20 minus the remaining $80, and basically the blockchain system is like that. Its foundation is different. Because giving it to one man, Mr. Leo, recorded all the information, now all the villagers will record that information. Now suppose in that process there is some mistake. For example, the villagers have 100 people, but for example, there is a person like Mr. Ben who mistakenly wrote that I only transferred $10 to Mr. Adam instead of actually $20. Then all the villagers will compare the books with each other and they will see that there were 99 results. I sent Mr. Adam $20. Only Mr. Ben made a mistake in his notebook, so Mr. Ben adjusted his record. Of course, if we do these things manually, it is impossible. Especially when the scale is not just limited to the village but the whole world, it is still impossible. But thanks to today's society, we have powerful enough computers, we have an internet system, so it becomes possible, which is a very short and basic way about blockchain technology. And in this part, you guys, please note that blockchain is the technology that runs everything as I just described, and because it is a core technology, we can use those technologies to build many other things. For example, instead of money, we can use it to authenticate the sale of a house. For example, after people exchange money, their land use rights transfer to the other person's name. Instead of the state storing this information in centralized servers, they can use blockchain technology to manage it. Similarly, people use it to register cars or vote in elections. For example, there are many different applications that can use this blockchain technology to operate, and among those applications we created a type of application called Bitcoin with the initial goal of replacing money, which is the example I'm telling you now. Imagine that now we live in a world where there is no more cash, everyone owns Bitcoin. For example, rich people own a lot, poor people own a little. For example, once there is a transaction, the transaction information will be updated on all records. And it will be stored on countless computers around the world, according to the decentralized model I just explained earlier. As for the people who created Bitcoin, they also stipulated the rules that the number of Bitcoins is finite and how to transfer Bitcoins back and forth, how to combine this transfer with Bitcoin mining. In general, Bitcoin has a series of very good activities with the ultimate goal that it will gradually replace the world's currencies. Bitcoin's vision is a very good vision. However, when put into practical application, besides its advantages, it encounters some problems that are just the story of Bitcoin. Besides Bitcoin, many other products also apply blockchain technology such as Ethereum or countless other altcoins. Coins are built as products with different criteria, goals and ways of operating. Asterisk. At this point, you have a basic understanding of the differences between blockchain and Bitcoin and other coins. In my case, many years ago, when I started learning and working with these technologies, I was very interested. Personally, until now, I still like this blockchain technology. However, I am very clear between blockchain technology on one side and virtual currency products with blockchain technology on the other. I still like it very much. Until now, I continue to research. I believe it will have a future. To apply in many different fields, specifically with virtual currencies, I decided a long time ago that I stay out of this game. I have always believed that any investment activity should be based on our knowledge so that when we have enough knowledge, we can make our own decisions. Instead of blindly following anyone's advice, even if it is me, you should listen to me and not invest or vice versa. Listen to someone else's advice and invest. Instead of doing that, the best way is for you to equip yourself with a lot of knowledge so that you clearly understand the nature of these technologies as well as how they actually operate. From there you can draw your own conclusions about whether you should invest in it or not, and that is exactly my goal when doing this series of articles. I will help you. I understand clearly about these technologies to provide you with my personal perspective and the decisions I have chosen for myself so that you can have more information and have an additional perspective. We also encourage you to gather more perspectives. When you have enough perspectives, you can draw your own perspectives and make your own decisions. With this series of articles, I originally intended to share all my thoughts and analyses together in one volume. However, after I finished composing and recording it, I found it was too long, so I temporarily divided it into several episodes, the first of which I introduced to you guys about blockchain technology and as well as how Bitcoin and other coins work. In the next episode, I will share with you the advantages and disadvantages of Bitcoin and the reason why, after analyzing it, I decided to focus on technology research. As for the investment aspect, I just stand on the sidelines to observe people's behavior, and so far I have never regretted my decisions. Hopefully this series of articles will help you better understand these topics so that you can equip yourself with knowledge before the wave of investing in virtual currencies that I think will be quite exciting. Upcoming, I would like to pause my content in today's episode here. If you find this content useful, please share it with your friends and relatives. In addition, as usual, YouTube's algorithm gives priority to videos with many likes, so if you like this video, Please click on the like button to let more people know about our podcast. You can consider subscribing to the channel so that when I update new content, YouTube will notify you. Thank you for your following and wish you a favorable and peaceful day.